So here's the thing. I had this whole leg day plan, but I ended up starting on that hack squat and I was having just too much fun that I stayed on there the entire time. In all seriousness, there's so many things on there I wanted to show you that it ended up taking so much time. I didn't want to create a big long video and I didn't want to leave out any of that stuff. So today's apparently just a big hack squat day. All right, so we're starting with the hack squat. Now, if you don't have a hack squat at your gym, you can do this with the Smith, but the reason I like this so much is because, you know, with a normal squat, you're gonna get a lot of other muscles jumping in. Your glutes are gonna jump at the bottom, even hamstrings as you're sitting down nice and deep. But with this, as you get more and more flexible, as you walk those feet back, it's gonna put all that pressure on your quad. So as we add in these intensity variations, you'll see how you really be able to isolate them and just break them down more than anything else you can do. The more you get into hack squats or any quad dominant squat overall, I want you to work on working those feet back more underneath you, because if you can master that dorsiflexion and that ability to actually push your knees over your toes and put more pressure on your quads and still maintain force driving through your heel, you're gonna see your quad results skyrocket. All right, let's get into some exercises and really crank up the intensity. So we're gonna start out with 1.5s. All that is going all the way down, halfway up, back down again, all the way up. That's 1 rep. And the way I like to do this is with a real close stance, driving those knees in nice and close and really hitting that outer quad like we talked about. One thing you'll notice on here is I actually drive my heels into the machine, lifting my toes up as I come up. What that does, more pressure on the heels, creating a more intense contraction overall in those quads. So even on days when I'm just dead set on destroying my legs and lifting a little bit of heavy weight, I still don't take a power stance on here where I'm trying to pull on my glutes and hamstrings. I still try to isolate it to the quads as much as possible. So how I do that is by walking my feet a little bit closer than shoulder width to really take advantage of that outer sweep. And then from there, turning those toes out just a hair to bring in that vastus medialis, that inner quad. And what that's gonna do is demand your entire quad to activate to drive up the weight. Another way to really push yourself on here is with complete pauses at the bottom. Now, more often than not, this is the intensity variation I choose. Just feel like it's just a better overall connection. You can put even more strain, it hurts, right? So the way I do it is I take that traditional stance I talked about, which is fairly close, but toes out, and you wanna sit all the way down onto your legs, but don't let that actual rack touch the bottom. So if you have a shorter hack squat that hits when you're about halfway down, find a step, find a block, just get a little height for you, because it's okay to sit on those hamstrings and keep tension on those quads, but I don't want you to sit on the rack, because then you can deload that spine, and then when you try to put pressure on it again, that's where you can blow out a disc. Another thing you'll notice on these is I never lock all the way out. And that's pretty much my golden rule for most quad movements, except for the rare exceptions here and there. But the reason for that is if you lock out, it's too easy to just take pressure off those quads, rest a second, breathe. And the second part is do what's hard, right? The hardest way is keeping tension on that quad the entire time. You do what's hard, that hurts the most, you're gonna get the most growth. Now I forget where I saw this variation, but it's a good one to pull out of your bag every once in a while when you want a different feel and angle on these. And don't get it wrong, nobody on YouTube can show you anything that's new. People have been doing all this stuff in the gym for years. It's just about who you connect with and who can deliver the information in a way that you just take action on it right away. So the way you're gonna do this, either grab a pad or roll up a mat like this at your gym, and you're gonna put this behind your shoulder blades. It's gonna lift you off a little bit. And what that's gonna do is angle you forward and put even more pressure on those quads. So it kind of mimics that of like a 45-degree hack squat, if you've ever done one of those, or even a leg press. You're gonna feel tilted forward. You're gonna put even more pressure and isolate those quads more than anything we've done today. Just to make sure we're on the same page, everything we did today on the hack squat can be done on the Smith. So the 1.5s where you're coming up, lifting those toes just a hair, keeping pressure on those quads, you can do those here. The pauses at the bottom, same thing. Even to the point where you actually tilt yourself a little bit forward, in the Smith machine to put more pressure on those quads, you can do those here. There is one thing you're gonna wanna watch out for with these, and that's the angle of the Smith itself. So if it's straight up and down, then business as usual, everything else applies. Now if you have a little bit of an angle, like this one's tilted back a hair, so I wouldn't do it this way. I'd actually walk in and come back this way, because you wanna ride that path the entire time. You don't wanna work against it, you wanna actually work with it and make sure you're driving on that same angle as the Smith. As always, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you want me to do a video, leave a comment below. I'll get to it. Get after it, get growing. I'll talk to you soon.